Hi, Mom.
Hi, Chloe.
How's it going?
It's good.
Good.
It's good.
How have you been?
I've been amazing because
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've both been pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good to be together.
Yeah. It's hard to process, but it's real.
It's very real.
It's very real. And it's
Yeah.
very okay.
It's okay.
It's
It's
okay.
okay.
It's
And it's not
happening
going
and
to
it's
change.
okay. Yeah, and it's not
Yeah.
going to change. People are probably like, what the
You're
fuck?
stuck with me.
What are they talking about? That's
Yeah.
weird. Well, for
Well,
context, for those of you that are new, where did you just come from?
federal prison,
For how long?
5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my mommy got arrested for selling
More like
drugs.
indicted, but yeah, that same
You
thing.
got straight up arrested and put in federal prison, is what happened to you. Well, you were
Yeah.
actually in a detention center for 3 years
Hmm.
waiting to be sentenced. And then you got sentenced.
Yes, I did.
You did 5 years out of
Six.
six.
Yeah.
You were looking at possibly 10 or 12. But there
Yeah.
were some
Thank God I'm
factors that
crazy.
knocked you. Yeah, you got diagnosed with 6 different mental illnesses, which actually ironically saved
It's a
you
lot of, yeah, I did.
from 10 or 12 years in prison and only
Oh, yeah.
dropped you down to 5.
Well,
They
yeah, there
actually,
was other components, but that
yeah,
other people got it reduced to 5 year minimum, and then so they had to do that for me on the indictment as well.
they
So
actually also uh is it called OU time? When
yeah,
you if you did
I was over incarcerated.
yeah.
Yeah, as
Yeah.
part of retaliation for
Mhm.
speaking out about sexual assault in the
Mhm.
prison. I don't know if anyone's familiar with FCI Dublin or the major scandal that went on, but it's been all through the news nationwide. And they ended up closing the prison because it was named the rape club for about 5 years.
Yeah, it's pretty gnarly.
The warden, the chaplain, and I think 8 other officers so far have been prosecuted for uh, sexual assault and rape on inmates. So, yeah, it was a rough place to be. That's for sure. There was serious retaliation going on, and I experienced it, and
And you were trying,
I reported it,
yeah, you were
and I
standing up against
regretted
them
reporting it.
because they turned against
So,
you.
immediately, yeah, they
Yeah.
took my time, they took my date, my out date. They took my job, they took my ability to talk to you, my
Mhm.
phone calls, my ability to purchase commissary, which, for those of you that are not familiar with the federal prison system, you really can't get by without your commissary. It's your food, it's your clothing, it's your shoes. It's, I mean, everything from coffee to toothbrush to toothpaste to hygiene, everything,
Yeah.
everything. And they took that for 7 months for me speaking out against them. So
Yeah.
I did regret it. At this time, I don't because it brought about a lot of changes. It eventually brought about the closure of the prison.
Yep. Shut that
And
shit down.
yeah, it's sad though, because of what happened. The result of that was that all 605 women that were in the prison got transferred all over the country away from their families. And a lot of them are stuck in detention centers now. And so um, it's hard knowing that, that is the result of it. The result of it, of us speaking out, was to make changes within the prison, not necessarily to close a prison. I mean, ideally, we're trying to end mass incarceration. That's what I do for a living now. I work for CCWP, California Coalition for Women's Prisons, and I'm an advocate. And, we're all for, abolitionism, ending mass incarceration. We have the largest percent of our population than any other country incarcerated. And most of those people, I know for women, it's 86% of those women have had previous sexual trauma in their life, so and addiction too. And so you're just re-traumatizing women that have already been traumatized in their life, and that's usually the reason they're there. And it's just very painful to know that our system is so broken and not working in any way. There's no rehabilitation, there's no job skills being taught, There's
No reaction.
no change that goes on. And I know society, is jaded in a lot of ways, and society says you should be punished for your crimes. Okay, fine, I understand that. But at the same time, what society doesn't understand is they are spending billions on the incarceration system, on the prison system in this country. And what I would think society would want, what as me as a person would want, is to have those people, while they're being so quote unquote punished, right, to be rehabilitated and to get some mental health care and to get medical care and to get some kind of rehabilitation so that when they come out, they're better people
Yeah.
and they don't keep doing those
That's what
same
you would
things.
want if you're
Right. And
sending someone to prison. It's
what
hopefully to become a better person and
millions
stop
and
being a
millions,
criminal.
if not billions of dollars are going to be spent on that kind of programming. And that's what society, I think, believes is happening in there.
Not
But
at
I
all.
can tell you it was not happening at all in the federal system.
No.
Not at all.
No.
I mean, you were just saying I was diagnosed with 6 mental illnesses, right? 2 of those being chronic opiate disorder and chronic methamphetamine disorder, because for 30 years now I've been struggling off and on. I shouldn't say 30 because I'm not counting my clean time, and that's not right. So yeah,
Off and on in
so
the last
off and
30
on,
years.
yeah, I really struggled with addiction. I did have clean time and quite a bit of clean time at some point, but it was still very sporadic throughout my life where life happened. I didn't have the tools or the resources. I wasn't working a program of any kind. And when life happened, when death happened in our lives, I went back to what I know, and that's to get numb, to make myself numb so I don't have to feel anymore. But not any time when I was in jail or prison or federal prison was I rehabilitated or given the chance to rehabilitate or offered it on my way out either, or offered a better place to go, right? So when I was
Oh, you don't
released,
have family or money? All right, good luck.
yeah, good luck. And my family, and rightfully so in a lot of ways, but became extremely jaded by my habitual relapses and no longer wanted to be a part of my life. And it's understandable. And my family was taught that tough love is the best solution, and just to consider me dead already because they were going to get that phone call someday anyway. Right. And so it's just easier to just already write me off as dead, rather than have to live in the fear of that phone call.
It's they are living
completely illogical, right?
When they're living in jadedness, which we did look up. Yes. Asked ChatGPT. That is a word. Jadedness is a word. Okay. So you'll be hearing that a lot.
Okay. You use it all you want.
Our family, as in mine and yours.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, my family's your family. I'm your mother.
Yeah. It's been a long day.
I'm your biological mother.
Yes.
It's my family.
Our family.
Not that we want to claim many of them. But
no, God, no.
No, we claim a lot of them.
They
don't claim us.
The family that we share, I don't really claim. I claim maybe 2 of them. The family on my dad's side,
yes,
I claim 2 of them. Of
course.
So I have.
You just haven't met, though. I have 34 cousins and 12. Well, you used to have 13. Now I have 12 aunts and uncles. Yeah. And they are amazing, but you just haven't had a chance to get to know them. And that's very sad because you do have a huge support system. You have a huge family that once you got to know, you would love
I'm
dearly.
sure a lot of them are great people.
Yes.
But the ones that unfortunately I was raised by and close with, not the greatest people. But again, that's because they're jaded. They have their own reasons. Blah, blah, blah. I think that I am your only person that never didn't believe in you. Yeah. And that never gave up on you.
Right.
Right. So, and that's
thank God for it. That's why I'm still here.
Because
you didn't get jaded.
Because I chose every single day to choose love. Mm-hmm. I chose love. Mm-hmm. I chose instead of resentment or blame
Mm-hmm.
or grudges. I chose to keep loving you. And I gratefully, at a young age, learned, like I said in our first episode, a very, almost one of the most valuable lessons is that you can't fix anyone.
Yeah.
They are the only ones that can fix themselves and that can change their habits and blah, blah, blah. So I learned that there is nothing I can do to fix you. I can just hope and keep giving you the love that I know how
Mm-hmm.
and see what happens. And sure enough, we have always been connected, but now we're reunited
Right.
and more bonded and connected than ever. Thank
Mm-hmm.
God. So, and everyone else that didn't believe in you is low key, high key preying on your downfall.
Not anymore. There's a specific person, yes.
Right.
Okay, not everyone else. You
Okay,
can't say
okay,
everyone
okay.
else
Sorry,
because
sorry.
everyone
Let
else
me
is really,
rephrase.
really supportive. I have a huge supportive
Your
family right now.
biggest hater is
Yeah.
still your biggest hater. And that
Yeah.
that
And that's her
but
own
at this
shit. That has nothing to
no, that
do with me.
exactly.
Yeah.
And that I was just
That's
about to say that is her own problem.
right.
That is something that she has to live with herself. That's the
I mean,
biggest
we need to
revenge.
clarify that this is my mother we're talking about because otherwise there's just
Pause.
no.
Should we
Yeah,
even
but
go
I can
there?
say my mother. I can
No,
we can
should we
talk
even
about
go about two in the second
well, we can't
podcast?
talk about her and not
I know
say
that's
who
what I'm
we're
saying.
talking
Should we
about.
even go back on what I said? Or should we commit?
I don't know. But we can't say we're not
Right.
who we're. It's too
That's
vague.
what I'm
It's
saying.
too
Should we just
confusing.
ditch that altogether or should we full blown?
We need to come from a place of compassion and understand that we don't know her whole story. We know the parts we do know is that her childhood was very, very difficult with 13 children in a very poor family, and her being one of the oldest. She obviously didn't get the love and nurturing she needed, and that's what creates someone that's unable to. I can't say that because I didn't get the love and nurturing I
I
did
was just
needed
about to debunk
from
that as well.
from a motherly standpoint, right? But I had my dad that was amazing, right? My
Yeah.
dad was super compassionate, caring, loving,
See,
and
that's the
amazing.
tough part.
So,
I want to cut her some slack. I want to give her the benefit of the doubt. I want to say that, okay, she was the third oldest of 13 kids. She had to become a mom of her
mhm.
younger siblings very early on. Okay, I like to think I had it pretty tough. I would never treat someone the way that she treats anyone, never mind someone she loves. So at the same time, I want to give compassion. But at that exact, I don't believe that's a good excuse.
Okay, it's not an excuse. It's not an excuse at all. I'm saying what created her, right? And what created her belief system
Right.
was off, right? It was really for her really traumatic and bad. But and we don't know the extent of it, right? Her
Right.
mom has suffered from mental illness, right? Her mom was schizophrenic. And so she's raising 13 children as she's schizophrenic. I can only imagine what that would have been like, right?
Right.
So, but she also had an amazing dad. My Grandpa
Right.
Fred
Fred,
Catalano was
my
amazing.
great grandpa.
Yeah. So, um, but how much, I know there's tons of love to go around, but how much love do you experience? How much nurturing do you experience from a father who was in the military, also trying to work how many jobs to take care of 13 kids? I don't know how available he was, right? So, but also, and I'm not saying that's an excuse because your childhood is never an excuse. What I do think though, there's two ways you can go when you experience a ton of trauma, right? You can become extremely jaded and extremely resentful and the victim, right? And then you can get stuck in that victim role. Or you can become completely compassionate and empathetic. And when you turn that trauma, as you have said before, right, into where you can be grateful for it because of who it made you now and what it made you understand about humanity and other people and how it made you such a kind and loving person, that's amazing, right?
It is
And
so much more fulfilling and accomplishing when something horrible happens to you and then you go to someone and make their day better. right
Yeah,
after. Like
yeah.
there's just a feeling that cannot be
Right.
explained.
It's a high. Giving back is a high. Helping,
Yes.
for me, helping other people is an absolute, the best high I
Absolutely.
could ever experience.
Yeah.
I get more joy out of helping someone than I've ever done
It
from
is
drugs.
literally
right?
it is healing the trauma that other people put you through.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
that is a way to
Mhm.
people are always like, what does healing even mean? How do you even do it? Yeah, you go through the emotions.
Yeah.
You
You
go
got to feel
you
them.
gotta feel. You
got to
have
process.
to you can't I mean you can because you did it, but it didn't work. You can't
No, it
go
clearly didn't work. No.
you can't go to drugs and alcohol and expect it to numb you and keep you numb. And first of all, you shouldn't want to be numb in the first place. I get wanting to not feel and go through pain, but honestly, unfortunately, hard pill to swallow, you have to. Huh, pun intended.
Damn.
You have to. You have to feel it. You have to feel the depression. You have to feel the sadness, but you can't let it consume you. You can't let it
Right.
ruin your life.
Right.
I saw something that said, you have. Let me look something up real quick before I make this. Where's my phone? Do you know how many minutes are in a day? How many minutes are? What's 24 times 60?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
24 times 60. 00248. I might butcher this. 1280. 1280. That sounds so bad. That doesn't sound. We don't do numbers. What the fuck? Hey Siri.
No. Wait, what did you say? How many?
1280.
I know, but
wait.
What were we doing?
12. What the fuck? How many minutes are in a day?
I know, but what did you ask me to times?
24 hours times 60.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you got it. You're right.
Really?
Yeah, you're right on.
This is gonna be really funny
No.
if we got that way wrong.
No.
1280 minutes. Does that make sense?
6 is 12.
I'm crying. I'm crying. 4 times 6 is 12. I'm crying.
Okay, I've done too many drugs.
4 times 6 is 24.
Okay? I know this, okay?
Do you?
Yeah.
It's not, you said that so confidently. Oh my god, I'm crying. Okay.
I'm a mess now. What the fuck?
I can't breathe. Oh shit.
Oh my god, I'm dying.
Not that funny. Woo! Okay, let me fuck that. The point was
The reason why I said that is okay.
No, I'm gonna forget. Stop. I will forget this.
I'm crying.
The
I can't be
point-
on camera like
Yeah,
this.
no, we're being authentic.
Oh my god.
The point
Fucking
I was trying to make. Oh fuck! I almost. The point I was trying to make is that okay, you have 800,000 seconds in a day. That's not the actual number. Okay, you have 800. You have 80.
What?
Stop. Let me figure this out. Okay, you have $80,000.
My math was bad.
You have $80,000. Okay, somebody steals 2,000 from you. Are you just gonna throw the rest of the 78 away? 78.
Is that?
Are you listen? Let me. So you have $80,000. Somebody steals 2,000. You're really just gonna throw the other 78 away? No. Same thing if you have 1,280 seconds in a day and 2 minutes. Or sorry, what minutes?
You're right about
2
this number,
minutes.
but I don't think you are.
I don't think so. If you have 24 hours in a day, somebody ruins 2 of them. I don't know why the fuck I went to minutes. I could have used hours.
Yeah,
Are you
it
just
would've
gonna
been so
throw
much
the rest of
easier.
your? You just gonna let the rest of your 22
you're
hours
not.
in a day get ruined.
No,
I
you're not.
love that analogy. If I had nailed that, it would have been perfect, but I butchered it, and I hope that it hit home with people. Because the moment's gone.
It's so.
Anyway, what the fuck were we even talking about?
I don't know.
God.
You went a long ways to
I
make your point.
tried.
It was a good point, though.
I did not do well in math.
Clearly.
Mr. Amin saved me in high school.
Obviously, neither did I. Yeah, I got C's through math, but I hated math.
Well,
yeah,
I was actually I've always been emotionally intelligent and street smart. I am not very book smart. Once I might be the ADHD, I don't know, but once I get a concept, I'm really quick, but getting the concept is very slow process for me. So math and numbers, I saw a funny ass TikTok where a guy was playing a teacher, a high school teacher, and he comes up to this kid's, he's taking a test, he looks at the paper, and then he announces to the class, "Kids, I need you to read the instructions. You are not reading." But he just called that one kid out. That was me. I was that kid.
Yeah.
Where I was like, I would fail tests. I would get C's, D's, and F's on tests, and I wouldn't do my homework.
That's great.
But I understood, and I did well in class.
Right.
So, this is a humiliating episode already.
So embarrassing. Whatever.
I liked geology. Geography. What the I liked history. I mean, most of history pisses me off, actually, but...
What does that have to do with math? You're just telling me the subjects you liked?
I'm just telling you about my
Because clearly...
I liked sociology and psychology, which I guess is me saying... Can we change the subject? This is where you check me and take over.
Oh my god.
What were you originally talking about?
I don't fucking know now. No
We
idea.
both have ADHD. Did we already mention that?
Clearly.
So this...
And I've done too many drugs. I just want to put that out there. I've done too many drugs.
Yeah.
So I have major, and I had major head trauma repeatedly.
Right.
Which is why I'm epileptic now. Whatever. Anyway, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I have seizures.
I am epileptic as well. I have myoclonic epilepsy.
Different ones.
That fucked me over in high school too, because I would be watching the board. Mm-hmm. I would go out and I'd come back and the board would be full. It was empty. I go out, I come back, the board is full of numbers, and I missed the whole lecture. Yeah, that would screw me up really bad in high school.
Yeah, you used to do that.
Thankfully, it doesn't happen to me when I'm driving.
You were doing that. You know that. You would just zone. I'd be like, Chloe, and nothing, just not home. Like, what the fuck is this child? Like, are you on two planes at once?
Okay,
are you visiting with Emma? I thought maybe you were visiting with Emma. Well, you know what's fascinating though, is
Emma is my miscarried twin. By the way,
yes. If you haven't seen the first episode,
go watch the first episode.
Did we talk about her? We did talk.
We didn't struggle as much as we are in this one. That one might be a little easier to watch. Are we recording? Continue.
Wow. So, what was I saying? Fuck.
I was on two planes at once.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Hey, we did it. Wow. Ding.
You hit that right brain cell in there. Okay, so... Oh, my God. Really?
It's been bothering me. Okay. All right, go ahead.
You fix my hair and everything else while you're at it, my makeup. Okay. So, we talked about how you used to play with your twin.
We think
sister.
It was me playing with my twin.
We think so because
didn't make it.
I miscarried her twin after being abused by her father, and I didn't know I had you yet. Right, I didn't know for almost 12 weeks. So I was almost 3 months along when I found out I was still pregnant. That miscarriage didn't get rid of you both.
Jesus. All right. Oh.
That came out really wrong.
Yeah, the fuck you did.
No, I wanted you more than anything in the
I
world.
know. It's
You
just
know that.
funny.
I'd always wanted a baby, and I was told when I was 17 I could never have one, and I was devastated, absolutely devastated. And your dad and I were together.
Surprise!
Yeah, we were together for 6 years before, so he didn't believe you were his. He was convinced I cheated on him because why, after 6 years, was he going to get me pregnant after not getting me pregnant for so long? Didn't
Yeah,
make
but he
sense.
already had a kid. He had my brother with a different
No, he
mother.
knew he was fertile.
Right,
He just
so
didn't believe I was. So it didn't really make sense to say that it would be, but he
he's
just said he
just
just thought we weren't
projecting.
compatible, so I must have been with
Oh,
someone else. It
okay.
was an excuse to not
Of
be there while
course.
I was pregnant, right?
Yeah, he didn't want a
Because I got
second kid.
sober when
Yeah.
and he didn't want to do that. He wasn't ready to get clean. So it was an excuse to go fuck my best friend.
Oh
Or not
shit.
my best friend, but she was a friend. And yeah, yeah,
My dad
that's what he
was a fucking womanizer, player, didn't believe in condoms,
whore.
has or yes, all of the above. I remember. Can you tell your story? Because I have another funny dad story.
Okay, so what I want to go on, the tangent I was on right then was that your connection with, and some people may cancel us over this, so I don't care. We'll probably get canceled over a lot of things,
We're gonna
but
get canceled in our second episode. Let's do it. Let's try it. No, we don't want
but
to get
no, a lot of
canceled.
people
But
don't believe in this stuff. But I will tell you, I can't say how much I believed in it until you would pull this weird shit. Like, okay, so when grandpa died, right? You were 6. Besides playing with your twin that was no longer, you'd be in your room playing by yourself with toys, and I'd come in and be like, Chloe, who are you talking to? Because you were talking like you were with someone, right? That you were so involved
I've always been good at that.
in your
Apparently.
stuffed animal game or whatever you were doing, right? Barbies or whatever, and you had someone with you. And there was no telling you that you didn't. And you would
Right.
look at me like I was stupid for not acknowledging Emma, your imaginary friend.
Yeah.
And it was just strange because it went on from like 3 years old till 5 years old, where, you were convinced that she was with you. And there was no telling you any different. It sort of went away at 5 years old. But then at 6 years old, when grandpa passed away, I was driving and I was on the phone with someone, and I just picked you up from school, from first grade. And I was telling them how my dad had died, and you got so mad at me. You were in the back seat of the car in your little seat, and you said, Grandpa is not dead. And I'm like, oh shit, I thought we already went through this. Like I
I mean,
thought
I watched him
I
die pretty much.
Yeah, you
I
weren't
remember
there
when we
when he
went to
died,
visit
but
him in
you
the
were there when
hospital.
you
That
were
was
there.
bad.
You got to see him right before you got to say goodbye. And so it was so weird because you were so mad at me and you were so convinced, and you yelled at me. You said, just because you can't see him and just because you can't hug him or feel him anymore does not mean he's not with us, or he's not alive.
A
That's what you said.
6-year-old.
He's not alive, not
Yeah.
with us, but you said alive. And I play with him all the time. And I'm like, okay, all right. Well, I am not going to convince you. I'm not going to tell you any different.
Yeah.
More power to you,
Right.
because I would love to see him. I would love to play with him,
Yeah.
right? And it was a trip because you were so serious. And then you would go outside in the backyard and you'd be playing in the swings, playing in the backyard. And you would tell me that you were playing again. So you were talking to someone and you would tell me it was grandpa. I was outside playing with grandpa. And I'm like, all right, okay. Another episode, which was absolutely mind blowing. So, me and Doug, we used to go to this restaurant with you all the time, and they knew you. You knew everyone in this restaurant. It's a little pizza place in by Mission Bay, and you have everyone there just adored you, right? We go in, and you go running up to the bar and say hi to whoever the bartender was at the time, and you sit up at there, and oh, wait, context beforehand, right? Before we went, we were trying to leave for dinner and you would not leave. You were coloring pictures and you said, I'm not ready. I have to finish these pictures. And I'm like, okay, well, can you do it at the restaurant? We're hungry. Can we take it with us, please? And no, you were not leaving until they were done, right? And I'm like, what are you drawing? And you would not let me see. So anyway, we get to the restaurant finally, like late, and you go running up to the bar and you have your drawings with you. And I forget the bartender's name, but he's like, "What do you got there, Chloe?" And you're like, "My drawings." And he's like, "Oh," and I remember I was like, "Why do you need to bring them so bad? Why did you need to finish them?" And you came up with that I'm selling them. You told me you were selling your pictures at the restaurant, and I'm like, "Oh my God,
Hustling.
this is awful. This looks like pimping out my child for drawings for dinner. What the fuck?" Okay, child, you can sell your pictures at dinner, right? So you go up to the bar, and the bartender was like, "You're like, I'm selling them. They're $1 each, right?" And you had 3 pictures. I'm trying to remember what they all were, but you had 3 pictures, and you place them out on the bar. And he's like, he adores you. So he's like, "Okay, I'll buy one." Right. And he goes to get $1. And you're like, "Nope, they're not for sale for you." And I'm like, "Chloe, you're so fucking rude."
How old
My
was I?
God. You were 7 or 8?
Damn.
Yeah, maybe 8. And
What a brat. Okay, but
no,
no,
you were just
continue.
determined.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
weren't
yeah.
being a brat. You
No,
were
yeah.
just determined. But I was like shocked because you're
Yeah.
such a polite kid. You
Yeah.
were such a sweet, polite kid. You tell him no. And so this huge biker dude is sitting next to you, right? And his wife's next to him. And he's like, "Can I take a look?" He just thought it was really cute and funny that you wouldn't sell them to the bartender, that they weren't for him. And he's like, "Can I look at him?" And you're like, "Sure." So you slide him over in front of him, right? The guy, I'm sitting at the table, we're at a table, right? And the guy, I all of a sudden see his whole body just start shaking. And I'm like, "What is going on?" And his wife jumps up and she's like, "Honey, are you okay? Are you okay?" And you're just sitting there all smug. And the guy is bawling, right? This full grown, I mean, beard, like biker dude. He even had his vest on, his cut on and everything. And I'm just like, "What the hell did she do?" Well, turns out that the guy's dad had just passed away, and they had been on the outs, right, for a really long time. And one of the pictures you drew was the dad had like a man cave in his garage, and you drew like a kid's version, obviously, of an exact picture of his man cave, right? And him and his dad had got matching tattoos of the Chargers bolt, right? And that it was on the wall, right? In his
Man cave.
behind where he would sit, and you had the little blue armchair that the dad would sit in, and his TV, and I forget what else was in the room, but you had drawn out an exact replica of his man cave, of where his dad was.
Wow.
And then I don't remember the third picture, but I do remember the second one was so meaningful because it was a crib, and it was like you drew a rattle. You just threw random shit on this page, but it was a crib, it was a rattle, and then you wrote out Joe on the top, right? And that was his dad's name. And their son was pregnant, and they just found out it was a boy, and they just decided to name him Joe after the dad that
Holy
passed away.
shit.
It was mind
I
blowing.
didn't know men could have babies. Sorry.
There's
Sorry.
their son's wife, okay?
That's crazy. That's
So
fucking nuts.
the baby wasn't even born yet, right? But they had just decided and just told his dad that they were going to name him Joe after
Wow.
grandpa that had
Wow.
passed away.
Wow.
And the reason why it was so meaningful for this man was because to him, it meant that his dad was speaking to him.
Yeah.
And he took it as, we're okay now, right? Because he died with them being totally on the outs. And so he took it to mean somehow this child is giving me a message from my dad to tell me, right? Because that man cave meant so much to both of them, and the charger bolt that you drew meant so
Yeah.
much to both of them. It was their connection, right? And then also this, that he knows this baby's coming, and he knows you're naming it after me. And I was kind of scared of you for a moment. Like, it was crazy to think.
Did he buy my art?
He bought your art. He paid you
Fuck
five.
yeah.
He paid you $5 for every one of them. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. And you only asked
I'm
for
a
$1.
hustler.
You only asked for $1.
Been a hustler since
But
day
yeah,
one.
he wasn't. He was. Yeah.
That's amazing.
I wanted to keep it at that point because it just was. I mean, I would never
Right.
do that to the
Right,
man,
right,
but it
right.
was just like, oh my God, this child is mind blowing, the things. And that's just one example. Let me tell you another one.
Yeah, I
Okay.
like this. This is
Okay.
cool.
Yeah.
It's sad because I don't have any pictures of me as a kid. There's like maybe I can count them on two fingers, like 10, maybe less than 10 pictures of me less than 10 years old. So like my childhood years, I have those core memories, but that's about it. Like I love hearing stories because I
Well,
know that I was never very emotional. I was always very polite. I was always more mature than my years.
mhm.
Um, I know those things about myself, but hearing it, especially
Yeah.
from you, is cool because I'm like, I know, I know I'm cool, but I definitely have moments where I question it. And when I hear,
No, you're a little healer. Like it's
yeah,
crazy the things that you would do when you were little. I was mind blown with
it's healing my inner
your
child hearing this.
connections with strangers
Yeah,
was so fascinating to me. Just complete
I'm
strangers.
still able to connect with anyone and everyone,
Yeah.
which is awesome. It's a natural thing that I can be friends with literally anyone, and I do love having that trait.
So I'm going to tell you a funny story. This is one of my
Okay.
favorite stories. So there was Charlie, right? Okay, so one of the things because I told you we were so spoiled as a child, right? And so I used to give you way too many. I had a shopping problem, still do, and working on it. It's one of my addictions I'm working on. But one of the things that I used to do with you is at Christmas time, because you got so many gifts, is I would make you pick out 5 of them that we were going to give away, right?
I remember. Yeah.
Right. You had to go give them to children. We'd give them to a shelter, to a domestic violence shelter, and you'd give away 5 presents of yours that were going to go to someone else, to a child in need, because I wanted you to understand what it meant. One, that not everyone's Santa was the same as your Santa, right? And also that giving back is what it's all about. I wanted to establish that as in you as a very young child, that there's more from giving back than there is from receiving, right?
Totally.
And so, and I think you learned that. But so one of the things we would also do is we would go, and when I get my Christmas bonus, which is usually about $10,000, we'd take a good chunk of it, usually probably like around $1,200 or something, and we would take it and we would go to the Big Five Sporting Goods store, and we would buy socks and hats and gloves or mittens for the homeless people, right? And then we'd go down to the beach and we'd have our big boxes of stuff, and we'd set up and we'd give them out to the homeless people so they weren't cold and they had new socks. And you loved it. You absolutely loved doing it. So one day you're there and you're running the show, of course. I'm just standing aside as you run the show, and there's a line of people, once they realized that they were giving out free stuff, they were there. And so there's this man that comes walking up, and he's dirty and he's grimy and he's drunk, right? And he's a vet, you can tell, right? And he comes walking up and he just pushes past everyone, and he's like, "What is this? What are you giving away?" And you're like, "Gloves and hats and mittens, and I mean socks, right?" And he's like, "Well, I want some." And you're like, "Well, you're going to have to wait in line." And he's like, "Are they free?" And you're like, "Nope." And I'm like, "Chloe, yes, they are." And you're like, "Nope, it costs you a hug."
Aww.
And I was like, and it was so fascinating because this man, it was like you could have told him it was $1,000,000, because
Aw.
he
Look
was
at me tearing up in myself. What a
because
good kid.
he wasn't giving up that hug.
Oh, really?
No, that's why I said it was like asking this grumpy
Oh.
old man to give up $1,000,000
Oh,
or
I
that he
see.
didn't have,
Right.
But no, you were asking way too much for that. And so you just saw him, and he was like, you totally took him back by that, right? Because he didn't know how to react. And you just stared this man down. And I'm just like, oh my God, I can't believe she's doing this. This drunk man's going to haul off and hit this kid.
Just punt me.
Anyway, he like sits there for a few minutes, a few other people go through, right? And then all of a sudden he cuts in front of him again, and he's like, "Fine, fine." Right? He really wanted his hat. Right? And so He's like, goes to dig in for his hat. And you're like, nope. And you block the whole box. And I'm like, oh my God, what's she doing now?
I like that you just sit back and let me figure it out because you
Yeah.
could trust me to
Yeah.
figure it out.
Yeah. And so,
That's funny.
anyway, you said, I get to pick it, right?
Valid.
So you take your time, you take your sweet damn time going through, and you're just pissing this man off, and you're knowing you're doing it. You
Yeah.
have every intention,
Oh, yeah.
like behind what you're doing. It's so
Oh, yeah.
planned out. It's
Always.
crazy, right?
Mhm.
And he's just groaning and growling and, huffing and puffing. And but he's you can kind of see the shift, right? He's starting to get this little energy shift, right? Where, because he can't help but laugh at you because you're being such a brat to him. And he's the brat, right?
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be the brat and the grumpy
Right.
one. And this kid's just not putting up with my shit. And so you dig through the hats, all through them, right? And near the bottom, you're like, I found it. You come out of that box with a hot pink and black. You know those hats that have the braids down the side, right? Well, it's neon pink and black braided together all the way down. And it's black with neon pink snowflakes around it and a huge neon pink pom pom. And I'm like,
There you go.
Chloe, like, that man is not going to wear that hat. He throws his bag on the ground. He takes it from you and he sticks it on his head and he pulls the things down like this. And he got the biggest grin on his face, the biggest smile on his face. And we were all crying. Like, everyone there was crying. All the homeless people that were in line, because they know him, right? They know Charlie, and they were just mind blown that you just broke him, right? And then you picked out mittens with the little pom poms all over them to match, hot pink. And he was loving it. He was absolutely loving it. You let him pick out his own socks. That was nice of you. But so he goes to go away. He just grumbles, right? And he's got his hat on and his mittens on, and it's not even that cold out yet. But he's happy as can be. And he goes to walk away, and you're like, hey, sir. And he's like, what? And you said, you didn't pay.
Go. What a damn, dude.
And so he turns around and he's pissed now, but at the same time, like, you can just see he's breaking, right?
Yeah.
He's totally breaking. And everyone's laughing at him. They're like, oh, Charlie, got to give up that hug. And so you come running around the box and you ran into this man's arms, like, ran in and just tackled him around his waist. And it was, oh my gosh, it was so moving. And he starts crying.
No shit.
We're all crying. But just, he didn't know what to do with this little beautiful child that's holding on to him for dear life. And it was like you already knew each other, right? Wow. It was like you had this connection and he needed to be broken and you knew it, right? We visited him a few times after that. We went down to we went. I can't believe you don't remember any of this. It
Charlie,
makes me so sad.
Charlie sounds very
Yeah,
familiar.
he was your buddy, but he passed away, I think maybe within 3 months of that.
Wow.
Yeah, we went down to see him and they said he'd passed away. But you know what? I think everyone said, that were down there that we talked to said that he passed away different, that he passed away happy, right?
That's
And
amazing.
something, I don't know
That's
if it
really
was
cool.
just that moment, but just knowing that someone loved him, right? And that's why I think it's so important.
Yep.
I know from my own experience, from witnessing other addicts' experiences, but just witnessing that, right? Just a man that's so broken, because God knows how much he was traumatized, had experienced trauma in his life and in the military and things in the war. And so for him to just have this little girl hold him and love him and not take his shit, right?
Mhm.
Was so altering for him, right?
Life-changing.
And for all of us, that I'll never forget that moment ever. That whole experience was so amazing. I was grateful to you, but just for the whole experience and just how eye-opening it was for me to know how important one little smile one little hug, one little shift that you can cause in someone in bringing about some more love to them and letting
Yep.
them know that no matter where they're at in life,
Yep.
no matter. And I think it's so important for people that have children to please do those things with them and please
Yeah.
let them be them
Yes. Yes. Yes.
and let
yes.
them communicate with that homeless person if they need to or want to. And, you know, obviously you keep your children safe, but at the same time, within a safe space, you can allow for them to give that love that they feel they need to, right? Because that was, you know, life changing for not only I think us, but all the people there, right? All
Right.
those homeless people watching that were so fascinated by the situation because, and I talked to them all, you know, about it later. And when we visited again, not all of them, but a lot of them, and they just were mind blown by the whole situation because they'd never seen Charlie be nice to anyone, right? Or they'd definitely never seen him cry. So it was pretty fascinating. But you were full of all kinds of really neat experiences when you were little that you just connected with people on a whole different level than I was able to. And I was always fascinated by it. And I hope that
I love deeply connecting with people, and
yeah,
I
yeah,
can't not.
yeah,
It doesn't matter who you are, what you look like, how old you are. It doesn't matter if you're a good person or a bad person. I connect deeply with you naturally off the bat. It's a blessing and a curse how empathetic I am, because
yeah.
not only can I put myself in their position and feel it, but I take on
Yeah, that's what empathy, yeah, that's what
I
happens
take
with an
on
empath. Yeah.
yeah, I fully take on whatever they're feeling.
We both do, yeah.
And so like I started tearing up when you were talking about Charlie. Like I can't watch certain movies
Mm-hmm.
without bawling my fucking eyes out. I know I'm not the only one, obviously. And I know that some people, we know someone. We're thinking of the same person right now. That is the complete polar opposite of empathetic. Can't feel. There's a lot of people out there that can't feel, and I
And
honestly
I
think
think
that's
that's a mental illness, no?
yeah.
So that's right. And narcissism is, you know, a mental illness, a borderline personality,
Yeah.
narcissistic disorder, you know, or
It's sad.
narcissistic borderline personality disorder is a mental illness and it's an incapability to feel, right?
Being empathetic is very, very hard, and it's not for
Mm-hmm.
the weak.
Yeah,
But I wouldn't have it any other way,
right.
because I have, like you said, I'm a healer.
Yes.
I feel like I can heal anyone.
You can't, but you
I
can help them
I'm
heal
saying
themselves. You can
right.
bring
So that's what I
you
meant
can
because
bring
I did.
about those shifts,
Yeah,
right?
you know what
That
I meant
cause
because
people. Yeah, you have the ability to help someone shift. You can guide
yes,
them.
yes,
We both do this, right? You guide someone into a space
yeah,
that they may be really uncomfortable going like he was, right? Pushed and pushed and
yeah.
pushed
That's what I meant.
and
Yeah,
we're getting there,
yeah.
right? And once you get there, it causes a shift in their perception and their reality that life is different. There's love in life, right? And when you can cause that shift and you can help someone, it and they can heal themselves. Yeah,
Yep.
they can
That's what I
definitely
meant.
heal
Thank you
themselves.
for wording that.
You're welcome.
I don't want to come across like full of myself, but
Yeah,
you're
no, and no, and it's important. It's, I mean, it's that's where we're learning too, right?
We had to switch gears because the subject we were on is not ready to be public.
4 times 6 is 12. Yeah, mom. Yeah, it is.
Well, okay, so you know, we're trying to teach people here a good thing is not to do drugs. I'm your example.
Hey, I think you're fine. I think you turned out pretty well. You just don't do
Yeah,
numbers.
but things no, that happens with
My mem
words. That
my
happens with things all the time.
I have noticed about you
Yeah.
that you're definitely slower
Yeah.
because she while we were here at the studio today,
Oh,
she was
God.
she was going to Sprouts and she was ordering us sandwiches from Sprouts, $6 sandwiches. It was taking a little long.
Shut up.
No. It was taking a little long, and I have attention ADHD, and I need things done fast and
Not
efficiently.
with me. It's
So,
not happening.
so it was taking a little long, and I'm like, I bet you she has not even ordered the sandwiches yet. I call her, I say, what are you doing? She's like, I'm still in line. I said, there shouldn't be a line. You go fill out the paper. She's like, oh, right. Walks up.
Okay,
She's like,
you-
okay, I see it now. Fills out the paper. I said, all right, good luck. Thanks. Love you. Bye.
But okay,
30 minutes go by. She is 1 block away at Sprouts. I usually take my lunch and go to Sprouts down the street. That takes about 15 minutes to go in, write my sandwich, wait for them to make it, self-checkout, because I'm not waiting for anybody, and I get back to work before my 30 minutes is up. 30 minutes go by after she said she ordered it. I check her location. She's going in circles around this parking lot. That is not my parking lot. And I'm like, Mom, take a left. She's like, you can see me? Siri's being a bitch. I'm like, take a left, take a right.
Siri
Take a
told
left.
me where to go, and
You
she
don't
lied.
listen to Siri.
Fuck,
All right, so
fuck Siri.
so I have noticed that you work a little slower than I do, but also I think that your life, the pace at which your life has moved in the last 6 years is a lot slower than mine.
Well, yeah, when that's
Especially
called
with TikTok.
institutionalized. Like
Well,
when you
yeah.
come out of an institution and you've been fed the same things
Right.
every time, there's no
Right.
choice, right? And you do the same thing every single day,
You
which for
slow
me
down.
was usually reading because they took my job and everything else. I had nothing else to do. So yeah, like it takes
slow
a
down.
second or many seconds, I should say, to process things, right?
Yeah.
So I was just standing there
No,
in
I'm quick.
Sprouts.
So
And
Good thing I'm patient.
I have changed, and a lot of it is, I'm sure, all the drugs I did. You know, when you slam drugs straight to your neck, you're gonna kill some brain cells.
straight to your neck.
Yeah, you've never seen my tracks on my neck?
That's what that's from.
Yeah, on both sides.
Needles?
Yeah,
Holy shit.
you didn't know that? Yeah,
I knew
it's
you
not
had it
something
in
I'm
your
proud of, but
I
yeah,
knew you had it in your elbows, your forearm.
yeah, but those went away,
Wow.
and then my hands.
Okay. What drug was it that made you feel like you had bugs on you?
Speed.
And speed is meth?
Yeah, meth. Yeah,
Wow. That's fucking crazy.
yeah.
That's fucking
Makes you
crazy.
feel like things are crawling all over you sometimes. When you're slamming it to your neck, it does. Yeah.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Why'd we have to go
Anyway,
Fuck.
hey, we're being authentic and real.
God damn.
It's gonna get uncomfortable, I'm
there?
telling
That
you.
was uncomfortable.
Well, I will.
Hey.
Well, I think that you and I are natural healers. I think that our hopes for this podcast, I don't have any expectations. I don't want people to think we're full of ourselves. I just want to be as authentic and vulnerable
I'm
and
definitely
open.
not full of myself. I'm pretty fucked up.
I'm pretty fucked up. Yeah. I'm actually, my biggest fear for
Yeah.
this podcast is getting canceled, but at the same time,
Why? I don't
give a fuck.
we're doing it for us
We're
to
doing it
heal,
to help
right?
people, and if
so,
they try
and
to
if it
fucking
helps
cancel
people,
us-
it helps people. That's the goal.
Yeah.
But for us,
If anything,
this-
all we're doing is taking accountability for the shit that we've done and been through.
this talking
help other
through
people.
all the stuff,
Yeah.
you know.
So
the
I gotta get over
questions-
that.
The questions you have.
How can I not be a people pleaser, Mom?
How can you not be a people pleaser? That was a really hard lesson for me because
Being
especially growing
raised
up
by a
the
narcissist.
growing up the way I did,
Yeah.
nothing I ever did was good enough, right?
Yep.
And so I spent my life trying to make her happy, and in doing that, I made myself miserable
Yep.
because the one thing here's a perspective you can realize when you're people pleasing, one, you can never ever please everyone, right? So you're always taking on way more than you could possibly do, right? And they feel it. Like
Yeah.
they don't want you to do that. They want you to be authentic. They want you to be real,
Yeah.
right? And so you end up doing the opposite of people pleasing. You end up failing everyone
Yep.
because you're trying to do this for that person, do this for that person, be this for that person, right? And you're changing yourself and who you are and what you believe to what you think will make someone else happy, or what you
But,
so
yeah.
or so someone else will like you.
Right.
And they're not going to like you because you're fake, because you're not authentic.
Right.
So,
And
and
it's
no
so
one likes
sad.
that because it's cringy. It's
It's
uncomfortable.
a double-edged sword because you're like,
Yeah,
you're
it's
doing it
awful.
so other people love you because you love them, but at the same, and you want everyone
But you
to
even
like
do
you.
it with people that you don't
Oh yeah, I
love,
know. I
right?
do it. I
Yeah.
do it to everyone. I just want
Yeah.
everyone. I've always wanted everyone to like me and for me to like everyone.
Okay, stop that. get over that.
I'm trying to get over the fact that not
Yeah.
everyone will like me. That's
Yeah.
part of like doing a podcast. I know that I'm gonna hate a lot of things. I already hate my voice. I hate a lot of the things that I'm gonna say. I want everyone to it to resonate and make everyone happy. But I just got to get over that
No.
fucking shit because I'm not ever gonna be
Okay,
able to
here's
make
the
everyone
thing.
happy.
There's what, 8 billion people in this
Yeah,
world,
yeah.
right? So if there's 5 that hear something from
Yeah,
this and
yes.
it helps or it causes a shift, then
Yeah.
we've succeeded.
Yep.
Right? Remember what Grandpa told me right before he died? He told me that he'd failed me, and I was so confused because he was, you know, a multimillionaire and so successful in everything he did, and he was such a good person, right? He was so good to so many people. And so I was so baffled. What do you mean you failed me? He said everything I taught you was wrong. The idea of success that I taught you was wrong. I spent my entire life trying to make money and more money and more money so that I'd have it. And he's like, and now for what? Now I have cancer and I'm dying, right? He found out he had metastatic melanoma, and, you know, they said he'd maybe make it a month. He made it 3 months. But it was an awful 3 months because, you know, he was put through chemo and radiation and cyber knife and all this other stuff. And all it did was slowly kill him and torture him. And so, because none of that works on melanoma. I mean, surgery works on melanoma, but it was so far past surgery. But what he told me is that, like, what was all that for? What did I spend my life traveling around the country trying to make millions of dollars for what? Right? Because I don't get to enjoy it now.
Yeah.
But not only that, like,
Money is not everything.
it is so not everything, but not only that, like he said, by doing that, he missed out on so much of my life because he was gone usually Monday through Friday traveling, right? And unfortunately, those were the times I was left alone. You know, we were left alone, and they were hard, you know. But he felt so much regret for that. But he said, Kendra, if I can teach you one thing, it's this, that I want you to journal at the end of every day. And if you can write down one name or one person that you helped that day, and whether it be you smiled at them, whether it be, you know, it doesn't
Give 'em a
matter.
compliment.
It doesn't matter how you helped them, right? But if you can tell me that you can write down, you know, that you helped one person that day, that was a successful day, and it was an extremely successful day. And
Yep.
then you are a success. For every day that you
Yep,
put
I
together
agree.
that you helped someone, you are a success. And you know what's interesting about that is, while I was strung the fuck out on drugs and doing the worst, right? Doing the absolute worst, I still lived by that.
Yep.
I still lived by that. And today, like just the other day, I went to a NA meeting with some friends, and to have them tell me, you were there for me, you were good to me, you know, you were a really good friend.
Mhm.
That doesn't happen. And they said that I can't say that about other people, you
Right.
know, that I did drugs with. But besides that, I sold them a lot of drugs or gave them a lot of drugs. They also said that, which wasn't being a good friend at all. But in other ways, emotionally, right? And in
Yeah.
any other way I could, I was there,
Mhm.
and I helped people. And so I can look back on that. And in prison, I was more than that, right? In prison,
Yeah,
because I
definitely.
was able to be clean, I did everything I could to help people
Yep.
all the time. It made it so that I could change my perspective, right? That I could think about Grandpa and what he said, and I could go, okay, so many times, Chloe, when I was so miserable and I was so sad about being apart from you. But I remember telling people this and saying, if I wasn't here right now, I wouldn't have had this conversation with you, right? And they were so grateful for whatever conversation we were having and the shifts that were occurring, right? And so I wasn't able to spread the love. And sometimes it was like I was in Pacific Beach, you know, and I met with a lot of different homeless people down there, and helped them, right? In any way I could, or just our conversations. They helped me, I helped them. And so, and I remember thinking this needed to happen, like this right here, this moment. So many times I thought that throughout my addiction, that this moment had to happen.
Yeah.
Like, and it made it so.
Strongly believe that everything happens for a
Yeah.
reason.
And same with the times in prison. Those moments need to happen. Those
Yep.
connections I made were beautiful. I have
Yep.
people that I still talk to every day. Some are out, some are still in.
Yep.
Those are the ones that, a lot of them that I'm advocating for. And even my old bunkie that just got released, which was so fascinating and amazing and such a
Yeah.
huge thing that I helped to bring about, but got out 5 years early on compassionate release. But yeah, if you can just say that about your day, but if we can say that about this podcast, I mean, and then we don't even need to, because this is so much about healing us healing each other, right? And going through our past and
It's kind of crazy because
learning these lessons as we bring them to the surface.
you and I have a lot that we need to process, talk about,
Mhm.
a lot of closure that we need to get, and we're going to be doing it live in front of who knows how many people. Could be 10, could be 10,000, could be 2,
I don't like to think
could be
about
just
it.
you and me. I don't really care. But yeah, it's just interesting how this dynamic is going. And I am 100% here for it. I
It's
fucking love it.
It's giving us a space to do this that we might not have done it otherwise, right?
No, I think we would talk either way. I just think
Yeah,
that
we
I think that our conversations
do.
are worth sharing.
Yeah, that
100
too.
million% worth
too.
sharing. I think that some are more productive than others. Some are just straight up can't do math and embarrassing ourselves. But the world needs more love, positivity, and compassion.
Yes.
And
Yes.
if this is the podcast that does it,
Cool.
cool. If not, we tried. We did our duty. Duty.
Love you.
I love you, Mom.
Love
I'm
you.
happy to have you back.
I love you more.
I love you most. You know
No.
what? We're gonna
Nope.
get we.
No. It's not gonna make me blush, bitch.
If you watch this and I know you, I love you. If I don't know you, I love you too.
Same.
Thank you for watching.
Same.
And I hope that it at least made you smile. I hope that we made you laugh or cry or feel something.
Feel anything.
Feel
Yeah.
anything, because it is very
Feeling
important to
is
feel things.
good.
Anger, sadness, those emotions are just as normal as happiness, and
Yeah, they're good to use to process. They're good to go through.
it's better to
right?
feel emotions than to not be alive at all.
Yeah.
So we hope that we made you feel something today, and I hope you watch the next one.
Okay. I can't do it.
Did you just flip off the camera?
No, I didn't.
Dang.
It's bad.
We're gonna get shot. We're gonna throw up gang signs on accident. Okay, bye.
Bye.